last year, so much was talked about the comeback in the second half, about the offense and Trevor and all this. But the defense had in four of those wins had critical takeaways in those games. I'm just wondering, now that they're in the second year with Mike Caldwell, how much do you think the takeaways could increase even further just because of better communication and all that?
Well, it's something that we strive for. We started talking about takeaways, back when the offseason program started with the defense, and it's been so far this preseason we've had success with some of the takeaways and creating short fields for our offense. So you're absolutely right, though. Last half of the season, defense came up big with some key turnovers, and obviously won a football game in overtime for us with a pick six. So, it's very important that we continue to not only talk about it, but put it into practice during games.
There are so many stats associated with success in the football league, but one of them that's certainly been pretty consistent is in terms of turnover differential. And obviously that starts with getting your own takeaways. Do you think that that's something that just sort of kind of manifests itself as defenses are together longer, particularly on the communication end?
I think so. And you're right. It seems like, the takeaways come in bunches, right? They come in waves, and the teams that are on the plus side of it, obviously, with the takeaway giveaway ratio, obviously have a chance to win more football games because you're giving your offense, more possession. So, again, it's something that, again, we continue to talk about it and lean heavily, in that area, and make sure our guys understand that. And then on the other side, obviously ball security, right? We can't give the ball away.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, Doug, we'll go ahead, and if you just want to get into the injuries, obviously they really took a turn on the O-line there, but I can go through the guys unless you have them in front of you.
I don't have my list in front of me. I went through them with Ferg this morning, so if you gotta just go ahead and.
Yeah, we can start with the O-line. Wells, Shatley, Hance, Brewer, Hodges, Harrison.
Yes.
No,
yeah, Josh Wells obviously injured himself in Detroit. He's gonna miss a little time here towards the end of camp. Anton Harrison dinged up his shoulder again. We just kept him out of the game for mainly precautionary. He could have played, but I just wanted to not risk further injury there. So he'll be good to go this week. Darrell Williams had a shoulder in the game, but remained in, played through it. He'll be fine. He'll be up for Miami this week. Chandler Brewer is in the protocol. He actually got dinged there in the third quarter, so he'll be in the protocol this week. So we'll see where he is in a couple of days. Who else did you mention?
Hance, Hodges, and is Shatley still on blood thinners?
Shatley this is his last week of that. So he's still on that, so no contact for him. So he'll be going through all the individual stuff. Blake Hance is okay. He'll be fine. Just kind of monitor some of his reps during the week, but should be good to go for this game. There's one more.
Hodges.
Hodges. Yeah, he had a patella injury in the game, and he's going to miss a little time. Not sure exactly how much time, but he'll miss obviously the rest of training camp, and won't play in this last preseason game.
Do you need to add some guys to get through this last preseason game with the starters going, limited?
Well, one of the things that I don't think we realize is we get Ben Barch back this week. He started his time last week. We're going to increase his reps this week, and he'll have a chance to play in the Miami game and give us some quality reps there. And looking at the depth, yeah, we're a little thin at the offensive line. It's something we're going to monitor, this week. But right now, we're comfortable where we are, and some of the guys that we're going to get back here in the next few days. So it doesn't look like we're going to add anybody at this time.
Go ahead, Hayes.
Hey, Doug, good morning. I'm curious, is Devon Hamilton in the facility? Is he with you guys?
Not at this time. He's still being monitored, by the medical professionals in town, and just making sure that he's 100%. Got a text message just to update you on that. Just got a text message this morning that he's doing much better and feeling better. So he's definitely on the road to recovery.
Are you fearful it could be months before he's healthy?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't talked to the doctors. I'm not going to speculate on a timetable with him at this time.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Demetrius.
Yeah, Doug, there's a couple more injuries. Foley Fatukasi and Antonio Johnson, curious on their updates.
Foley's doing good. We kept him in a boot for precautionary reasons last week. Should hopefully get him out of that boot this week, get him going again. He will not, he'll be one of the guys that won't play, obviously in Miami, just due to the injury and recent foot. Antonio is still dealing with his hamstring, and as you know, hamstrings can be a little funny, and he's gonna miss a little time. He won't play in Miami this week.
I know you said after the game, starters might play 1 to 2 quarters. With all the injuries, does that change how you might do it, or are you still on the same process?
No, I'm still in the same mindset. I can't really worry too much about who gets hurt, this and that. If I do, then people get hurt, right? I mean, I just think you practice and play just like you're getting ready for a regular season game, and our starters need some time together on the field, and so they'll get that opportunity this week. And I'll listen. I'll monitor it. I'll be on top of that too. So if I need to pull them out, I'll pull them out. But right now, it's still full steam ahead.
Is that sort of your mindset in terms of getting the starters a little bit more work? I mean, do you think that they need these couple quarters?
I do. I think there's nothing you can't substitute game reps and the feeling of a little bit of pressure and a little heat from execution. And in practice, it's okay to make a mistake because we can correct it in the film. In the game, it gets magnified. So we just need those guys to play together. Obviously, if they can play 2 quarters, I'd love to get a 2-minute drive if we could. Those are all things that it's hard to simulate in practice. We'd love to get the defense a 2-minute scenario there as well. So we'll see how it goes, but they need the time on in a game setting, and being a home game too, makes it a little bit easier that way.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Go ahead, D-Rock.
Hey, Doug, real quick, is it a groin for Josh Wells?
Yeah, it's his adductor,
Okay.
so it's kind of in that same area. Yes.
Okay. What's your take on the one cut? Is that easier, better? Do you like it instead of, multiple cuts, just the one cut from 90 to 53?
I like it because we get a chance to get through this week, in preparation for our final preseason game. There's still going to be some opportunities for our young players to play potentially here in the second half, and there's still some ongoing, I think some battles, some competition that we need to see these guys in real games. So it is beneficial for everybody to practice. It gives us one more week here, 7-8 days to evaluate this team.
There's been, I guess, a couple of joint practices being canceled, across the league, for various reasons. Do you have a take on that in terms of whether I know you said you want to do these and you wouldn't even mind doing 2, but is there any concern about that kind of stuff with the chippiness and injuries and such?
Yeah, it's always a concern, about the chippiness and everything. And, it's one of the things I can't control the other team, obviously, but whoever the team is, Dan Campbell and I, we had great conversations leading up to our joint practices. And, you have a lot of respect for Coach Campbell, and that's why you do it. You do it with teams that are going to do things the right way. And listen, everybody's going to chip just a little bit, and it's football. It's competition. It's hot. You got pads on, and And so I enjoy it. I enjoy, obviously for us to get out of the heat for a little while and get into the cool weather up north. And but it just depends too on who you do it with and how you just message your football team. It's all about communication and the understanding that we're going there to just get better as a football team. We're not trying to get into a fight or any of that. We're just trying to get better and improve, as a group.
You're limited in terms of what you do with those, though, because it depends on your preseason schedule, right? I mean, you wouldn't necessarily have a joint practice with a team you're not going to play that week, or would you?
I wouldn't do it. I would only do it if we were playing that team, that week, because it makes sense especially if you're traveling, to stay in that city like we did in Detroit, Atlanta a year before, and play that team. So yeah, it makes sense to do it with somebody that's on your preseason schedule.
Thank you, Doug.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Mia.
Hey, Doug, upon second watch, offensive line, obviously the longest run we've seen, Walker Little at left guard, Cam at left tackle. What did you see after watching the tape?
I thought Walker did a nice job at left guard. He looked comfortable in there. He's a big body. He moved well. We wanted to see him. So we set up a couple runs where he could pull just a little bit. And so we wanted to see that and loved his physicality in there. Cam, probably not his best game. I felt like he was on the ground a little bit too much and got beat a little bit. For somebody at his caliber, he should play better. He knows that. He understands that. The guys come in today and get a chance to watch the tape with the coaches and make those corrections. But it was good to see both of those guys together, though, and see the communication, the dialogue that those two had during the game. And hopefully that sets us up for things to come here in the near future.
And then flipping it over to the defensive line, knowing you don't have a timeline for Devon's return, who have you seen emerge, especially this past Saturday, to potentially take that spot if he can't go week one?
Yeah. Obviously, Jeremiah Ledbetter, Adam Gotsis are two guys that we have, as role players, backup guys. I think Tyler Lacey's another one that really has emerged. He played well in the game. He continues to get better right there. So, we've got a couple of guys that are on the roster that can give us some really good time, in Devon's absence, however long that's going to be. But those guys played well, played consistent. Down the line, Raymond did some nice things, there late in the game. I think Ledbetter, Gotsis, combination of those two, and possibly, Tyler Lacey is a good combination to fill in.
Awesome. Thanks, Doug.
You bet.
Go ahead, John.
Hey, Doug, can you just talk about the kind of preseason Greg Jr. has had? I mean, 3 takeaways and like how many snaps he's had seems pretty impressive. Yeah,
he's really embraced his opportunity. He knew coming in here he was in a little bit of a battle there at the nickel spot, and he's done a nice job, and he did a nice job the other day in the game as well. So he just continues to improve. Again, he's got another big week coming up, against Miami, and just I like where he's at right now, and he and Trey Herndon have a nice thing going. Excuse me, and but really, I like the fact that he's really embraced his opportunity, and that's what young guys need to do, and they need to see that. And so, been really pleased with that.
Thanks, Doug.
You bet.
Go ahead, Gary.
Doug, what was the nature of the injury to Blake Hance? We didn't get the actual injury on that.
Gosh, I don't have my injury report in front of me. We can, we'll get that information.
Okay, that was the only one where we didn't have like a body part associated.
Yeah, you didn't have a body part. It's somewhere on his body.
Okay, great. And are your plans to split the second half between CJ and Nathan?
Not sure yet. Typically, that's the way it would go in this last preseason game, to give both guys another opportunity. But I haven't had that conversation yet with Press or Mike. So it's hard to tell you right now.